Hi, everybody.
Welcome to More Than Money. I'm Mark Manelli, your host, and this is Steven. Welcome, Steven.
Morning, Mark.
You know, we've been doing a little series on how to BRI.
Yeah.
And if you're just listening in for the first time, that may sound like a weird statement, but BRI is Biblical Responsible Investing. So if a lot of people say, Mark, you talk about that all the time, but how do I do it? So we talked about the generality of what that means to invest with biblical integrity, and then we also spoke about it all starts with asking yourself one question. Yeah. And that question is,
do you want to invest yourself or do you want to use somebody?
Right. So, you know, once you answer that question, are you going to do your own investing or are you going to use a professional manager? Once you answer that question, then we went on to discuss, if you're going to do it yourself, how to do it yourself. We talked about it last week and our last Tuesday. Yeah. And one of the points that we brought up, that if you're going to do it yourself, you're going to need a screening service. Yeah. And the next Tuesday, we're going to talk about if you want to use a professional money manager, what should you look for in a manager? And one of those things is going to be having a screening service. Yeah. Now, here at More Than Money, we fully believe with all our hearts that there is only one service that anybody whose heart who has the heart and desire to honor God in all they do, including their investments, that there's only one screening service worthy of utilizing, and that's Evaluator Services. So today we thought we would have Dave on from Evaluator Services, Dave Hart, and talk to him about why they are the best screening service. I know a lot of people don't like people talking about themselves. A lot of people don't like talking about themselves. But we're saying it. Dave didn't say it, but I think he would agree with us.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, so let's welcome Dave Hart from Evaluator Services to the show. Welcome, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're honored that you're here. Evaluator Services. Now, you guys have been around quite a while, haven't you?
We have. We've been around since 1995.
95?
Wow. 95.
Yeah. In fact, at that time, I think I was on the board of directors of the Timothy Plan. I can't remember when I was on the board of directors of Timothy Plan. It's been so long ago. But I remember Evaluator Services when they first started up, and it might have been before that. But they were the only one out there. There was nobody that was screening for biblical principles and morals.
Wow.
And I think you guys were the first.
I think Timothy Plan started in 1994, and they didn't have a way of showing people where their investments were. They were just telling them about it until we came along.
Exactly. And Evaluator Services, and it evolved. So tell us, why today is Evaluator Service the best screening service out there?
Well, probably because since 1995, we have continually tried to improve and improve and improve and improve. We only were showing mutual funds when we first started, and then we started to add some other things to it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Hey, it looks like you're frozen up there, but your voice is coming through, so don't panic, okay?
Yeah, so technical difference.
So let's explain. When we talk about a screening service, we're not talking about a stock screener like on Yahoo or Google or something.com. We're talking about a specific screening service to help people understand what they're invested in, who they're partnering in through their ownership of stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And Evaluator Services does that from a biblical morals point of view. Now, it's called Biblical Responsible Investing, but when you first started off, it was called moral investing, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Evaluator Service. So it's the biblical morals that you screen for. What are those biblical principles, those concepts, those morals that you're screening for?
Well, companies that are involved in abortion, pornography, and anti-family entertainment, the non-married lifestyle, the alcohol, tobacco, and gambling were the screens that we've screened for. We've never deviated from them.
What do you mean never deviated? What does that mean?
Well, we started out screening for these things, and we've never compromised with what's going on in our society.
And that's the first star.
That's what we're screening for.
That's the first star we at Integrity Investors put up there, and the first star that More Than Money puts up there of why we say that Evaluator Services is the #1 screening service for biblical responsible investors, because you don't compromise. You stand firm on God's word. a lot of other services that I have utilized in the past have changed their screening to reflect norms of the culture instead of the norms of the Bible. So that was the first one. What about how many companies you screen for?
Well, we can look at over 30,000 companies. Now, there's only about 8,000 of them that are actually being traded on the exchanges and so forth.
But you look at 30,000. So
look at 30,000. We can see over 30,000 companies.
Oh, wow. Hey, we just got a text in just now. It says, "Hey, Mark, what about international companies? Can they also be screened? Does Evaluator screen international companies?"
We do screen international companies that can be traded in the U.S. We don't just screen everything, but we do screen the ones that trade in the U.S.
Okay, very good. Okay. So that's, I guess, adds on top of what's on the New York Stock Exchange. What all products do you screen?
What? I didn't hear that.
What all products does the Evaluator screen?
I'm still not hearing that.
Maybe we're having a little audio problem. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. I'm hearing you say what?
What products does Evaluator screen?
What product?
Yeah, what type of products along with stocks?
Well, we're screening ETFs.
Okay.
We're screening bond funds.
All right.
We're screening the sub-accounts in the annuities.
Oh.
And all of the equity exchanges.
Okay, so you have mutual funds, exchange traded funds, stocks, and then I guess the company's issuing bonds.
Yes, and we're actually screening some private companies that are offering bonds as public too.
That's interesting, and a lot of people miss that idea that there are bonds that are offered by non-publicly traded companies to the public, and so you're screening them also. That's excellent to hear. Yeah. That because of the breadth and the depth of what you screen, that's the next star we put up there for the Evaluator services over other companies. Other companies either just did mutual funds or just did stocks in the past. You screen more things than your competition, is what I'm seeing and hearing.
That's correct. We also offer you the alternatives of the companies that don't fail our screen list that they can see after they've looked up the company that does fail.
Again, another star there that puts it up on the top. Not only do you reveal, illuminate, help people see what's really going on with the companies they own, they partner in, and what they're partnering in, where the compromises occur, but then you give them a choice. You help them understand that there are other companies that you could invest in, partner with, that don't compromise their Christian values. Being another star.
Yeah.
And if we're not up
and we offer them the address of the company that they can write to the company directly and tell them why they may be divesting or why they like what they do and why they are investing.
So if they're in a mutual fund and they find out that 30% or 50% of it have stocks that are involved in pornography and abortion and anti-family lifestyles, they can then write that you give them the ability to let that company know why they're moving on to another company and bring awareness to that company. And Dave, I know that works because I actually had a client many years ago who did that, and the actual money manager got back with them and said, "I just didn't know. Moving forward, we won't be holding these stocks once we get rid of them."
We have that happen every so often still.
Do you? Good.
Yes, we do.
I'm glad to hear that because that's very important. So with that said,
they call us here to find out exactly what we're talking about.
That's excellent. So here's the tough question: why do you guys do it? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it making you a millionaire, Dave?
No, and it won't. But let me tell you why we do it. We do it because we love God, and this is a way of showing obedience to God, and that we love Him.
Yeah. And that's the final star and the biggest one.
That is.
Because your goal is to honor God in all you do. And I know this because back in the beginning, I was there. And I saw it happening. And I know the hearts of everybody who was involved in setting this up. And that's why there's no compromise, because you're not just doing it for the money. The money has to be there to support the research that goes on. But you're doing it to honor God in every way possible by helping people invest with biblical integrity. And that's the final star that makes you guys the premier screening service for any Christian, any believer, anybody who wants to invest without compromising Christian values.
God's Word tells us not to be unequally yoked. And when you own these companies, you are yoking yourself with that company.
Absolutely. And he tells us not to participate in other sins. And when we own the company, we are a participant there. There's all sorts of verses. In fact, my book coming out in 45 days will have all those verses in it. And hopefully, David, you'll read it and maybe say, I knew that, but pass it on to somebody who could use it. Before we go, though, I do want to share something else. If you go out to morethanmoney.com, you can screen your portfolio for free.
Yeah.
If you go to integrityinvestors.com, we have a place out there where you can put in your investments and screen them for free. We do that as a service. Just the idea is that we do this so that you can become aware, awake, conscious, as the Bible tells us to be, and use your brain to honor God in all you do, including your investments. And in doing so, you will impact society. You will impact corporations, how they spend their money on advertisement, how they promote activities, what activities they promote. Because when money moves away from businesses, it's the oxygen being removed. And when it moves to other businesses, those businesses that are in alignment with biblical principles will bloom and will breathe comfortably. So, well, I told you all that to tell you this. The screening we use to do that portfolio is Evaluator Services. We subscribe to it to make sure that you have the best screening to make the best decisions in your portfolio. David, I want to thank you for being with us today. I know
Mark, I want to add something.
Okay.
I've known you for a long time, and I know that you do what you do because you love God as well. So
Amen.
Thank you.
But we give the glory to God because He even gave us a faith. You know, we know that it's all God, and it's all to His glory. And you know, the bottom line is, He even puts in our heart the ability to understand that life is
so much more
than money. God bless you, David.